Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow. And today we're going to be getting ready for the new moon in Sagittarius with the solar eclipse. I'm just logging on, and so I can see comments better. Hey. All right. So I'll just put this here. Prop it up a little bit so I can see. Okay, doesn't want to cooperate here. Maybe I'll put it right there. Okay, yay. Okay, so hi guys. Hope you're having a good day. I am done with finals. Hooray! I'm still in my pajamas, which I have been in all day. So yeah, been up since 6 a.m. Did my final, did a couple last lectures, had a meeting with my teacher, and I had a chat with my cousin. So now I'm chatting with you guys. So basically, this will be the same format as the usual, in that we will be reviewing just what resources I go through to get ready for my Esbat work. So basically, it's a get ready with me because I'm getting ready too. And a lot of people often say, hey, I don't know how to do an SBAT. I don't know how to time my workings. I don't know how to live by the moon or whatever. And so I think that it's really helpful to have somebody who's kind of just like walking you through their process. Obviously, all the steps in my process are not going to suit you. It's my process. You don't have to make something yourself. I advise you to take what resonates with you and let the rest go. Hi, Patricia. I think you're the first one, but I'm so happy you're here. And as always, I am not a person who is going to judge what you do with this information. I'm just going to always caution you to make sure that you're getting your information from a variety of sources. Just because sometimes people fall into a trap, especially when they're a beginner practitioner or whatever the case may be, where they follow like an influencer on Instagram or a page, a group on Facebook, or even just like a local coven, and they only get ideas in that little echo chamber. And I don't know if that's conducive to spiritual growth. Of course, do what works best for you. But hi, Rochelle. So happy you're here. So basically, I would advise you that no matter how you practice, whether you're a solitary or if you're in a group or if you're in an online community, I would advise you to get your information from several different sources, just because everybody's always going to have their own bias and spin on even what's considered basic and fundamental information. And people have a lot of opinions about how you should practice, and then that may or may not suit you. So just a disclaimer, I'm going to tell you how I practice. You do what you want. So first things first, I have my Book of Shadows. I got these journals one year at like the checkout part of Joann's, and they were like less than $5 for certain. And they're not very, the gold edging peels off after you're kind of rough with them for a while. So I can't wait to go through all of these. I'm almost done. I think I have a few more. And frankly, I might even give some of them away because I'm really rough on my Book of Shadows, just because I take them with me everywhere, like to the forest, to the beach, to work. It gets tossed in my backpack. Oh, thank you. It gets tossed in my backpack all the time. And that's why the gold edging gets broken off. So I'm just too rough for it. Some people are very good with their journals and they baby them and they're so good to them. And so this is probably a journal suited for people who are a little bit more delicate, which is me. So some of the things that I write in my Book of Shadows that help me with my moon sign is I have a little magnetic bookmark here, and I write the planetary movements and the lunar movements, and that really helps me know what's going on astrologically. Hi, Whispers of Three. So the first thing that I do when I'm getting ready to plan my working for an Esbat is I pull to the next page in my Book of Shadows. Of course, I title mine the same way. Every single time I open this book, I title it the same way. I put the date, I put the page number, and then I put currently where everything is in the zodiac, so where all the planets are in the zodiac. And so we're just moving into a waning moon, a waning gibbous moon in Virgo. Hi, Sherry. Hi, everybody. Sun is in Sagittarius, waning gibbous in Virgo. Okay, tomorrow is the last quarter, so that's also a very good time for working, especially releasing. And with these eclipse cycles are about snipping those cords, my friends, cutting those ties to those things that no longer serve you and releasing them. So tomorrow is a good day for working on letting that shit go. Just saying, I know I need to do it. So, and it's the last quarter in Virgo, and Virgo is all about responsibility, health, service, work. So it might be a good time to let things go that are not conducive to those areas, or for whatever it is that you want, because also you can work on release in a lot of different ways. Monday is Moon Day. A lot of people honor Hecate on Monday. There's tons of moon goddesses you can work with. The moon is going to be in Virgo, so you can work with that energy as well. It's a good day for release tomorrow. And it keeps on getting better and better and better and better until the dark moon right before the new moon. And then the new moon, in my practice, when it's still waning, it's a good time for release. And once it starts waxing, it's a good time to set intentions. So typically, I almost always do a 2-part new moon practice, with the night before the new moon being a ritual bath for release. Like, I have a bath, I have lots of herbs and salts that are very good for protection and release, and I physically exfoliate and scrub my body, and I let as much of that skin, energy, time, thought, feelings, all of it go. And when it goes down the drain, it's gone. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jennifer. So where's Mercury going to be? Mercury is in Sagittarius. So very cool, good energy. And we have Venus is still going to be in Scorpio. Mars is going to be in Aries still. Jupiter is still in Capricorn. Saturn is still in Capricorn. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces, and Pluto is in Capricorn. I need to find a new pen. This pen is not working for me. Hold on. That's problematic. Yeah, this one's garbage, unfortunately. I'll get it later. Okay. So I have an app, but I also have written in my book here on December 14th. So we're looking at next Monday. So Monday, December 14th is the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. All right, so that's going to be some hefty energy. Eclipses usually come in groups. So that's why they say eclipse season, right? We're going to have a lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, and a lunar eclipse, and that's going to be our eclipse season for this cycle. It comes right at the end of the year. So a lot of, and just the energy that it's working through, a lot of it is release. So it's a really good time to say like, okay, let's look back at this last period of time and what went well, if anything. And there's always something to be grateful for. What didn't go so well, and what do I need to let go? And so that's a really good practice for this time, but also for eclipse season. So basically, that's the first thing I do. I say it's Monday, December 14th, new moon, solar eclipse, Sagittarius. I'm off, so that's really good. A couple things that I'm just going to point out, like for my own practice. So on tomorrow, the 7th, which is also a Monday, the moon is going to be in Virgo, and it's the last quarter. So it's a good time to do things for release as well. And then usually the last day or two of a lunar cycle, when the moon is completely absent, when you cannot see it, when it's a dark moon, there's no moon in the sky, right? That is a very, very specific type of lunar energy called a dark moon. And that's really a good time for a certain specific set of practices. And for me, it's about release, divination, maybe shadow work, introspection. It's a good time for those kind of things. So I'm going to say the 12th or the 13th, which is a Saturday, Sunday. I mean, if it's completely dark Saturday, that's a really good day. Saturn is very good, protective, boundary setting magic. It's very good. Sunday's good for me too, just because I'm a Leo and it's my jam. But Saturday and Sunday are opposing vibes, right? Because Saturn and Jupiter are opposites, right? Not just in mythology, but energy-wise. If Jupiter is all about expansion and growth, and Saturn is about boundaries and responsibilities, they're opposites. To say nothing of the fact that Saturn, or Kronos, definitely wanted to eat Zeus and gobble him up until Zeus obviously overthrew him and the Titans and became the king of the gods. But that's just, Greek and Roman mythology. It just depends on what you're working with. But just because we named those days of the weeks that way, we're going to want to be mindful of that. And so that energy is going to be Sagittarius as well, in the dark moon. And then, of course, we have the new moon. So for me, Pacific Standard Time, the lunar eclipse is on the 14th. The moon is going to be new at 0816 in the morning, so 8:16. I'm guessing if you are Eastern Standard Time, it's 5 a.m. approximately. You're probably going to want to do working specific to Sagittarius early in the day, though, because the moon transitions into Capricorn that evening at 7 p.m., depending on what time you're at. Of course, every time that I'm quoting is going to be Pacific Standard Time because that's where I live. So I am a creature of habit, and my primary habit on dark moons is to have a ritual bath, exfoliating bath, and my habit on the next day, which is the new moon, is I can do another ritual bath if I feel like it, or more likely I just do some divination and intention setting. I'm trying to do a little bit more work lately, particularly candle magic. In some places, yeah, Rochelle, it is going to be not in my area, but in some places, of course, it will be. Yes, in some places it will. And you would have to Google Solar Eclipse 2020 to find out where, because I don't know off the top of my head. I am trying to do more magic, though, because as you guys know, I have a ton of backlog on some stuff. Actually, I'm actually doing really, really well on my candles, and I have all of my backlog of candles in one little box. So that means I have been burning candles nearly every chance that I get, and all all the quarters. I've been doing them all the quarters and on other special days. So I'm very proud of myself that I've been, yeah. It will be void, of course, at that time. So it's really, so it depends on you. So technically the new moon is in Sagittarius because that is the last sign that was in proper orbit before it transitions on. So I wouldn't, yes, don't do any like super important magic on that specific moment, but definitely set your intentions and do your divination because that should not be affected. You kind of want to be, if you really have something really important that you're working on, you want to be mindful of the void of courses though. But for most things, I think that it doesn't terribly affect it. That's just my personal experience. You're going to have to journal and track your own workings to see how that goes. I'm hot. And I accidentally lit an incense. I don't remember which box it was from, but it smells horrific. It smells so bad. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So, but I'm also cheap. So I'm waiting for it to burn down before I light another one. Oh, I'm sorry, Sherry. I'm glad you're feeling a little better. It can be kind of a long recovery for some people. Anyways, that's just my practice. But what I like to do is also look at my sources, look at my resources, see what some suggested ideas are, what are some astrological forecasts from different places. So in the description, you'll see links to the resources that I use almost every single Esbat. And the first thing is the Moon Astro app, which tells me exactly when the moon's going to be in what phase, in what sign for my specific area. That's how I know when the moon's going to be new. Because for me, it's very important that once it starts waning or when it's still waxing, those are two different workings in my opinion. Oh, thanks. So then the second thing is I like to, and maybe you guys do too, I get newsletters from different witchy content creators. My favorite for new moon, full moon, and dark moon forecast is the Witch's Box. Elena at the Witch's Box is the truth. Check her out. And they do very nice forecasts, and they also tell you where the moon is transiting and how you can just relate that to yourself specifically if you know like your rising sign. So that's also very helpful. I left the link below. The only thing is the information's not out yet, or else I would share it with you. She usually puts it out 2 to 3 days before the event. So first, sometime at the end of this upcoming week, you'll see the dark moon forecast come out. And then a couple days later, you'll see the new moon forecast come out. And that's going to be good information. Spirit de la Lune does a monthly forecast. It does include information for all of the quarters. New moon, first quarter, full moon, last quarter. It does a whole forecast. So that's another one that I really like. Again, it comes out 2 to 3 days before the event. The other source that I'm going to advise you to check out, like I like to learn about, is the Spirit Daughter. She's an astrologer. She actually makes little workbooks for each, so she calls it Sagittarius season or whatever, zodiac season. And that includes the sun being in that sign and the new moon. And then she does one for the full moon. And you can either buy one of those little booklet, they're little journal things that you write in, or you can buy both, or you can get them digitally, or you can get a subscription. And it's good information. It just wasn't what I needed. And plus, with all the stuff that I have collecting, I keep trying to put my hair up and it keeps not wanting to. And that's because it needs to be washed. It's finally time. So, especially because I have so much product and so much book and so much stuff that I've collected, that having 2 little books come every month for however long I would subscribe to it would just add so much to my already massive amount of stuff that I need to get through. So I she has a free newsletter, has really good information. I would check that out. If you do like the booklets, definitely do that as well. I didn't have a problem with them. I just don't want them. I guess I could do digital, but I'm not a digital person when it comes to my craft. I need to write with my hand. I need to have paper in my hand for this specific topic. So also other resources online that you can look at. Of course, there's Pinterest, which is full of good or interesting information. Not all of it's good. Then you're probably part of different Facebook groups. You're probably part of different Instagram groups. You might be different Tumblr or Reddit groups that are all probably giving you information, resources, ideas, or any and all of the above. And that's, of course, a very valid and free way to get information. And I totally respect that. I'm just going to caution you to please be mindful of, your resources. Try to get as many different resources as possible, not just from your own little group. So you're not in an echo chamber and you get like different ideas and different things, because you never know what's going to resonate with you spiritually. Okay. Yes, definitely, Sherry. So then from there, as you guys know, I collect books and almanacs. And so I have my stack that I work with every Esbat. It's going to be basically the same. And it's just a couple books that I really like, the resources in there, and a couple almanacs. This is going to evolve into a different type of thing over the next year, or over the next month or so. Yeah, Rochelle, that's great. It's a good one. So stay tuned for that. I'm definitely transitioning into I'm going to try a different thing, because until I get my stock down, I'm not going to be subscribing to new boxes. And I know you guys love that. And I'm trying to do reviews of lots of different things to keep the information fresh and good. But until I get rid of some of this stuff, I'm definitely to use it and however, I'm definitely not going to be subscribing to any new boxes just yet. Although I did put myself on the waiting list for Bumblebee Botanica's upcoming boxes, just because I can't resist it. And anything that Marie at Anita Apothecary puts out, I can't resist it. Exactly, Jennifer. But there will be more to that. So let's just get started, guys. This is one of the books that I've been referencing, basically since I was 18 or 19 years old. A lot of you guys have feelings about this. It is what it is. Take what serves you, leave behind what doesn't. Yay, I'm so glad. So basically, and I'm going to give you guys a little secret from somebody who has like over 100 witchy books and has been getting the planners and the almanacs for like years and years and years. I'm going to say that most of the stuff done by Llewellyn, it all follows, it definitely all agrees with each other to a very broad extent. I don't know if that's they just hire like-minded people and that's how it goes. And they are shifting. They are hiring more diverse people. But I will say that I can tell when an author is Llewellyn associated at this point. And also on my webpage, hounddoghollow.com, I list every book that I own with publisher. With author and with publisher, because I think it's really important that we kind of be a little bit more cognizant of how much of our metaphysical material comes from where. Because sometimes, even though I do give Llewellyn a good bit of my money, sometimes they're pretty problematic. I am not. Hi, Maria. Sorry, Maria. Hello, everybody. Hi. I'm so happy. Okay, so basically, Sagittarius, new moon, solar eclipse, Sagittarius. What are we working with, guys? What are we working with? So, basic energy, expansion, generosity, faith, optimism, understanding, mercy, charity, hope. That's a good note to transition into the holiday season in, and also, a good hopeful note to make those goals and make those make those dreams, start dreaming up what it is that you're going to do. Because Sagittarius, like we talked about, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. This is all about expansion, optimism. You know, this is a good vibe. It's a good new moon for all of your dreaming, all of your happy thoughts. The next new moon is going to be Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, which is all about boundaries and responsibilities and making shit happen. And so dream big. And then when the new moon comes into Capricorn, it's time to actually make a plan to make it happen. Not just putting intention out into the universe. You have to put energy behind that manifestation. You have to do the work. And that's not me gatekeeping. That's just saying, like, if you want results, you will get results if you do the thing. All right, that's cool. So the zodiac color association is blue. The element is fire. Suggestive magical operations. Rituals and spells to expand any project or talent and to find understanding in a difficult situation. Spells to give yourselves or friends hope. Spells to strengthen your personal faith, to expand your awareness, and to learn generosity when dealing with yourself and others. Spells to borrow money, make travel plans, or visit a foreign country. Learn and study world religions. Avoid sloppy rituals. Be careful of running from commitment. So I would say that it's a very good time for hopeful dreaming and thinking big. And that's what I'm going to be doing. But that was Solitary Witch by Silver Raven Wolf. And everything that I'm going to be referencing in this live is going to be in the description box, okay? The next book I like is The Modern Witchcraft Grimoire by Sky Alexander. Technically, the Complete Guide to Modern Witchcraft and the Modern Witchcraft Grimoire and one other one. I want to say it's the Modern Witchcraft, maybe Wheel of the Year or something. No, it's not Wheel of the Year. Maybe it's the spell book, something like that. They're all very, very similar, which is why I only use this one. They're all written by Sky Alexander. They're all part of the same series. They're all part of the same publisher, which is Adams Media. And they're very similar. So I'll just read that one part that I'm looking at. So what I like about it is that it's organized in a way that I really gravitate to, because it's organized how you would organize your own personal grimoire in a way that you would be able to use it really, really easily. And so what is grouped together is spells by time and occasion. So that's very helpful organization when you're looking at, like, okay, the astrological energy is here. What is a good working? So we are going to be having the sun and the moon in Gemini. Hi. The sun and the moon in Gemini. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? The sun and the moon in Sagittarius. My goodness. I got distracted. Sun and the moon in Sagittarius. Sun enters Sagittarius around November 21st and remains in the sign until about December 20th, although this can vary a day or so from year to year. As winter closes in the northern hemisphere, we feel an urgency to do all that needs to be done in preparation for the harsh time ahead. Therefore, this month is often a busy one. Astrologers connect this sign with questing for knowledge and experiences that broaden us physically and or spiritually. In some countries, it coincides with a period of travel, generosity, and social celebrations. Do you seek to expand your horizons through study, travel, or exploring the spiritual realms? Do you reach out to others, offering your time, energy, and material benefits in an expression of gratitude and giving back for the abundance you've enjoyed? Do you feel restless and curious about what lies just beyond your reach? The benevolent energy of Jupiter, the planet that rules Sagittarius, can help you find what you're looking for. So spell work for Sagittarius. Use the expansive nature of Sagittarius for travel spells, whether you're traveling in the physical world or in the realms beyond. Probably not so much in the physical world, all things. Oh, that's Bobo. He's my old buddy. Consider shamanic journeying or engaging in a vision quest now to gain wisdom. This is a wonderful time to expand your knowledge of the craft or to study other magical traditions. Growth spells of all kinds can benefit from Sagittarius's energy. Use it to get a raise or promotion. So that's good information. The moon cycle that we're coming into right now is the elder cycle, or the dark moon, some people call it. There's lots of names. I'll go over that. So basically, it's going to be the moon cycle with a full moon in December. It is a hound dog. That's what he's right there. That's Bo. And so under the dark, cold, or long night moon, release your fears and banish those things in your life that are harmful or no longer useful. This is a time for silence, meditation, and introspection. Do spells to break old bonds, overcome obstacles, and end self-limiting habits and behaviors. So that's a very good idea, because it's also eclipse season, so you're going to be mindful of that as well. Okay, and so when the moon is in Sagittarius, you're going to want to think about spell work that involves travel, spiritual growth, knowledge expansion, creating opportunities, and good luck. When there's a solar eclipse occurs when the moon is new. At this time, both the sun and the moon occupy the same sign and degree in the zodiac. The moon passes between the sun and earth, blocking our vision of the sun. In her book, Lunar Shadows, Dietrich J. Pessin writes, this time is filled with the mystery and unseen influences are yet to be developed in our lives. It is time to observe, dream, and plan, not to initiate action. Because the moon shadows the sun now, emotion and intuition, things we associate with the moon, tend to take precedence over the solar activities of logic, intellect, and outer world endeavors. Focus on inner growth, dream work, and psychic practices during a solar eclipse. So that's really good idea. So just think. So we're kind of sandwiched. So we have a lunar eclipse that we just passed. We have the solar eclipse that's coming up on the 14th, and then we end the year with the full moon and a lunar eclipse. So it's a good time to kind of ponder and explore what it is that you need to be releasing in your life, but it's not necessarily a good time for action. So I would definitely set intentions this moon. I'm definitely going to set intentions this moon. This new moon. I'm not going to roll out plans until the new moon in Capricorn, because Capricorn's a much better energy for getting shit done, as opposed to Sagittarius, which is, I think of as a big, expansive dreamer. So I'm going to set intentions and goals and hopes and dreams out there into the universe at this time. That's one thing that I also like to do is I have an envelope, I have a parchment paper, I have a pen, I do whatever it is that I'm going to do, and I write myself an intention, and I put it in my book of shadow, I put it in my envelope, I seal it up, and then I don't look at it again until the upcoming full moon in Sagittarius, which is going to be 6 months hence, and see how it went. It's complicated. So I have not mentioned it yet. And I have talked pretty extensively so far that Jupiter and Saturn are opposing forces in astrology, in mythology, just opposing energies. And so they are in the same spot, and conjunctions, depending on how the two planetary energies get along, depending on how the two energies get along, it may or may, I don't know. It probably is going to manifest different for all of us. So for me, I have my Jupiter is in Capricorn, so that it's complicated energy for me anyway. It's just, we'll have to look at a forecast. Let's look at a forecast, because I can't really express how I know that I shouldn't be setting things into motion with this new moon. I just know that I shouldn't. And that's probably from intuition and years of practice and working with myself. I just know that this is not a good time to actually start something. This is a good time to dream of something. This is a good time to make those goals. This is a good time to dream, to be optimistic, to have hopes, to really do spiritual intellectual things, not necessarily action physical world things. That's just my take on this energy. Hi, Amber. So yeah, and the moon sign book has a better astrological forecast than any of the other books that I'm looking at here. We're going to do the correspondence book last, just because the correspondence book is really like a list of correspondences. And so it's kind of like not necessarily reading like a blurb about something. I always do the Witch's Almanac. The Witch's Almanac doesn't specifically have like, I read this like a book. And I talk about that in the review that's coming up. I have the new one. I read this like a book, and then what I do on a cycle to cycle is it has these little enigmatic phrases on different days, and I write those in my planner so like I know when those days are. But otherwise, I just read this as a book. And it's a really good book. It's a really good collection of all sorts of different articles and just good information. So we're looking at the 5th of, so that was yesterday. So on the 8th, it says share success. That's it. So they're just little enigmatic messages for you to consider. It does have great articles, Rochelle, and good. And I talk about this in my review that's coming up in a few days. It has good articles to talk to you about the founding principle of why intention, manifestation, and spell work, why we build spells the way we do, how they work, like what is going on. Because just like when we talked about astrology, if you don't know the fundamentals of why a thing is the way that it is, it's just not as powerful for you. Like my husband has an intimate knowledge of the working of these cars. And so him trying to fix something or work something with a car, it's going to be far more effective than me just being like, it says to put this thing in this hole. I'm just going to go for it, which I'm not actually going to do. I'm going to be like, help me, please, because I don't even want to try. But just basically, it talks about the law of similarities. It talks about, just different principles, philosophical principles about why we're doing what we're doing, which is really important. Maybe not at first. At first, 101 is fine because you're really just stepping into this role and learning the concepts, learning the lingo, and learning about herbs and in a very general thing, right? You're just dabbling, like kindergarten and first grade. You're just learning how to use language. You're learning how to use numbers. You're learning how to identify them. You're learning how to interact with them. This is an all new concept. And then when you get into like reading literature or doing mathematic equations, then you're saying like, we've had all these little ideas. Let me tell you how these ideas work together to talk about big abstract concepts. Okay. And that's the kind of building up that I feel like we have so many really good Witchy 101 books. I love Witchy 101 books. I'm not going to rag on them ever. That we're telling you the way that things are, and we're telling you how things work on a very basic level, and you have enough to get moving, right? You have fly, you jerk. That was a fly. What an asshole. You have enough to get moving. You have enough to get started. But at some point, if you want to grow past beginner work, you're going to have to learn, why is this thing working? Why does this thing do this? You're just going to have to do that. Exactly, Rochelle. And then when you learn about the law of similarities or just different principles about spell building and manifestation work, then you go back and you're just like, okay, that's why I need to use this specific type of herb or crystal, or, I could use these 3, but this one grows in my yard and it's kind of like it wants to work with me. It's just building up on that kind of knowledge. I digress. I got off on a tangent. I apologize. So on the 10th, it says wield charity. Wield charity on the 10th. And so I just write this down in my planner on the top, just as a little message to myself, just a little blurb. from a crone somewhere. On the 12th, make a wish. On the 18th, it says soul food. Make a wish. Waxing, Fairy Queen Eve, Saturnalia, soul food. So I guess I'm going to be cooking that day. And then nothing else until our next get ready with me for the full moon. So those are just some ideas that they send. That's how I used this book. This other book, I do have a review. Either it comes out today or tomorrow or somewhere in there. The Practical Witches Almanac. I bought the 2021. It's really, I do a whole review, so just stay tuned for that. But what I like specifically about this year that's not about 2020, that's not in 2021, is the Gone Fishing. And it's just basically the best, most lucky times to find things or try things or look for things. And they don't have it anymore, so I'm kind of bummed about that, but it's okay. So Saturday the 12th is a lucky day, which also coincides with the Witch's Almanac saying, make a wish. So keep that in mind. It's also a dark moon, so interesting energy. I don't know why this fly is like making love to my face. I hate him. Okay, so the 12th, and then we don't have anything until right before the full moon on the 29th, 30th. So I really like that. There's other stuff that I like about that, but it's already in the review of the planner, so check that out. This one, this is going to be your most comprehensive almanac as far as that I own so far, as far as purposely living your life by the moon. I did buy quite a bit of moon planners, and as you watch the series, you'll see different ones, and some haven't even arrived yet from Kickstarter. So we'll see how that goes, but this one is very full. Again, this is one that I read like a book, except for certain sections that I'm going to cover with you right now. So it has like a weekly thing. It's like a quote, something about gardening, and then just some kind of random, like kind of almost mundane idea, which is great, except for I don't ever really follow it. It never really, that part doesn't super resonate with me so far. So I never really, like, for example, the 6th through the 12th, the person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. And that's like a fine quote, but not super helpful for me particularly. Hi, Michelle. So then it's just like, if you have trouble meditating, try knitting, crochet, or needlework as a form of active meditation. It is quiet, allows you to think deeply, and keeps your hands busy while your mind is free. Choose each knitting, crochet, or sewing project as if it were an expression of what you are trying to accomplish in meditation. For example, peace of mind, insight into a situation, or more expansive consciousness. No, it is being sold. It is being sold. What I am saying is that there was a specific article in the 2020 version, the Gone Fishing article, that I absolutely loved. It was my favorite thing, which is not in the 2021. But all the rest of the content is still there. It's still really good. I bought it and I like it. I'm just saying it is that one thing that I really, really liked about it is not there, which we'll see. I as far as I know, it's still being created because I bought one. So then it goes into gardening by the moon, which is super helpful information. Guide to planning, companion planting, guide to void of course. Yeah, guide to void of courses. And then it tells you about the rhythm of the moon, the energy of each moon. So Sagittarius moon. The moon's energy is masculine, dry, barren, and fiery in Sagittarius, encouraging flights of imagination and confidence in the flow of life. Sagittarius is the most philosophical sign. Candor and honesty are enhanced when the moon is here. This is an excellent time to get things off your chest and to deal with institutions of higher learning, publishing companies, and the law. It's also a good time for sport and adventure. Sagittarians are the crusaders of this world. This is a good time to tackle things that need improvement, but don't try to be the diplomat while influenced by this energy. Opinions can run strong, and the tendency to proselytize is increased. The ruler is Jupiter. The impulse is expansion. The rules the thighs and the hips. So we kind of already talked about like it's a good time for certain things, Lord, but not all. So then it has an extensive segment of, oh, that's really cool, Sherry. I like crocheting, but I haven't had time recently, but we'll see if that changes. It's got extensive chapters on aspecting, and I don't do that, but some people really, really follow that. It's got an extensive weather forecast. It's got an extensive economic forecast, which again, these are for people who live their life by the moon on a different level than I do. And then they got the lunar forecast. So let's see what it says. And this fly makes me want to burn the house down. Damn fly, leave me alone. Okay, an excellent day for planning travel. So this is for the forecast for the new moon. Or deciding whether to take a course or biting the bullet and going back to school. Judging your own abilities comes easy during this new moon. Mars in Aries makes a helpful angle for changes of direction regarding health. So, if you're an Aries, your taste for eccentricity is at a high point. Seek out those friends who make you laugh. If you're a Taurus, the urge for travel is strong. Are you really staying home all winter? Gemini, you're fragile. Don't push yourself and don't get goaded. Remember, it is what it is. Cancer, get active, get moving, and don't believe everything you hear. You know the folks who like to exaggerate. Leo, being on the go is preferable to cocooning. Being entertained, even better. Virgo, another's lack of judgment could vex. Do you need to be annoyed? Why not ignore it? Libra, making new friends is easy, but you don't need to get everyone a holiday gift. Scorpio, financial entangling can be sorted out. Make the time now. Sagittarius, your personal new moon for 2020. Find out what you believe, not what others would have you do. Capricorn, if you're on the edge, that's the right place. Don't be hurried. Aquarius, a fine day to look at sporting equipment. Pisces, justice will prevail, and your sense of fairness becomes you. So that's kind of the forecast for then. So again, even when it talks about, deciding whether you're going to go to school, deciding about travel, those still speak to me about like dreaming, hoping, planning, and doing the pre-manifestation work, which I think is the dreaming. That's a really good time. Girl, me too. Yes, my poor husband. I posted on my personal Facebook. It's a picture of a guy, and he has an alligator that he's just rubbing his back, and the alligator, and it says, "This is a real life photo of my man babying my mean ass," and that's me. I'm so mean, and my husband just like there. Which is he's really good to me. I just dropped my pen on the floor. Ow! I just hit my knee on the desk. All right, next planner. And this one I get a ton of information out of. And I use it obviously the most because it's completely full of scribbles. Okay, so this is the Tune to the Moon planner. For the Wolf Moon, so that's the cycle we're going into, the Wolf Moon. So it does the month. It always does month by the lunar month. It doesn't go by calendar month. So the gems, almandine, garnet, amazonite, lowlite, kyanite, mukaite, jasper, and smoky quartz, which smoky quartz is my jam. And it says intentions and some ideas for a reading, but here's your forecast. The moon turns new once again on the 14th of December in the sign of Sagittarius. This new moon is also a total solar eclipse that holds vast potential for your future. This is a powerful way to end 2020 and move into the new year ahead. Be sure to set very clear intentions during this new moon and take some kind of physical action towards them. That's their advice. Take some kind of physical action towards them in order to let go into the universe. Then be on the lookout for opportunities that will align with you. On December 15th, Venus enters Sagittarius as well, which will bring in a sense of optimism and warmth in your relationships. There is also a sense of luck shifting or good news coming your way. This time of year can be stressful for a lot of people, but let yourself be adventurous and fill your heart with joy. Focus on the memories you are creating with your loved ones. Venus in Sagittarius will make this easy to do. Let me see what they said about this current week. Okay, and then the week after, they say, on the 17th, Saturn moves into freedom-loving Aquarius, which will enhance your focus and make mental clarity a priority. It might have felt hard to concentrate on something important to you, but that is shifting. On the 19th of December, Jupiter also enters the sign of Aquarius. This may bring up issues of justice or feelings of needing fairness in your life. On the 20th, Mercury shifts into the sign of Capricorn, helping you get serious about a business idea or a career advancement you may be after. December 21st marks the first quarter in Pisces and Yule, the longest night and shortest day of the year. From here on out, we will see each day getting longer and warmer. Though we are still many weeks of darkness ahead, we can now begin to feel the dances shift between seasons once again. This moon is also in the dreamy and watery sign of Pisces. A first quarter Pisces moon wants to help make your dreams a reality. The sun moves into the sign of Capricorn on the same day, which will help you put these plans into motion so you can see physical results. Capricorn is an earth sign and is a reminder that we will soon be time to begin tending your soul garden once again. So that's a really good forecast for the next few weeks, and it kind of hints on the themes and the concepts that we've been talking about here. So I've been thinking a little bit more about it, Jennifer, about the conjunction. And I want to say that for quite some time, we've had Jupiter and Saturn very, very close to each other. Number one, they've been in the same sign for quite some time, although Saturn has been starting, because Saturn's a 29-year rotation, right? So Saturn has been doing that thing where it gets into Aquarius and then it goes retrograde and it slides back into Capricorn. And then it comes out of retrograde and it slides forward. And every time it'll move a little bit less into Capricorn for less time and farther into Aquarius until it's going retrograde and it doesn't go back into Capricorn at all. It's just in Aquarius. And then it'll get closer and closer and closer over the next 29 years into Pisces. So yes, and Jupiter is on a much shorter rotation, 12 years. So Jupiter has been in Capricorn the whole year. Saturn was in Aquarius, part of it, but most of it was retrograde in Capricorn and direct in Capricorn, and now it's going to ease back into Aquarius as Jupiter is also easing into Aquarius. So yes, it has been in conjunction a lot of this year. And so conjunction is also really specific because some people feel like it's within 6 degrees of each other. So I feel like that energy has been present with us a vast majority of this last 12 months. What I do think, though, is that, so if Jupiter is the great benefic and Saturn is boundaries and limitations, then it makes perfect sense that 2020 was these two planets so closely together, considering all the limitations that have been placed on our lives this year, both with lockdowns and quarantines and challenging social issues, and just all of the stuff that we've been dealing with has been definitely a lot of clashes, which I would expect between something that is about expansion and benevolence versus something that is about boundaries, responsibilities, and kind of that come to Jesus energy. So I'm not sure. Well, hopefully we won't have that energy again. I'm done with this shit. And they'll only be this close again for a very short amount of time because Jupiter is going to be in Aquarius with Capricorn for probably 3 or 4 months. And then Jupiter is going to keep moving on to Pisces through Aquarius into Pisces, and Saturn's going to fall back into Capricorn and inch back into Aquarius, and so on and so forth. It's going to do that dance. I'm good at astrology as far as it works to a personal person, about astrology to understand yourself psychologically, and I'm not so good at forecasting and talking about how these broad energies affect day-to-day life as a person. I do that on a smaller level with the moon and the sun, which I'm always monitoring, but not so much an aspectarian, which is how these things being in conjunction, things being in opposition, things being in square, things being sextile. Not so much those energies as well. So what I would suggest is, again, the Witch's Box does a really, really, really good forecast about how that energy is going to be working and what those transits mean in your life. But also really good is Cafe Astrology, and Spirit Daughter has touched on it as well. So I have definitely, and I feel like most of us have felt that tension. 2020 was very, very hard for me. Almost as bad as 2011, which was my last shit show year, which thankfully I am very blessed to not have that many shit show years in a row. But it's definitely a challenging energy. I can't expound on it anymore because I don't know what that's going to look like for us. Let's see, what does my book say? So they're going to be in this. Definitely, because Saturn is going to be moving out of Capricorn, which it's been in for a few years, and Saturn in Capricorn is very, very strong energy. It's its home planet, which is good in a way. I do like the responsibility energy, the boundary setting, especially when you're an empath or when you're a person in your life that gives too much of yourself. The Capricorn energy in Saturn can be really useful for setting those boundaries and saying, like, no, I have to put a limit here. I have to put a wall here. I have to protect myself, which is good energy for me in that respect. That's strong, good energy in that area for protections, for boundaries, for limits, for responsibility. But we probably had a lot of it. And it's probably time for a change on a societal level. It's going to be gradual, though, because Capricorn does a dance where it basically spends half the year going forward, about 5 months going forward, or 5 months, 7 months going forward, and 5 months going back. So it's always shifting back and forth. So let me see here. Jupiter and Capricorn have been together most of the year. And Saturn's going to enter, Saturn and Jupiter have been together most of the year. Saturn's going to enter Aquarius on the 17th, and Jupiter's going to enter Aquarius on the 19th. So that's probably where the conjunction is going to be. They're definitely going to be within 6 weeks of each other for the next several weeks, if they're not already at this moment. 6 degrees of each other, I mean. It's going to be lit because Mercury's going to be in Aquarius as well, and then the sun is going to be in Aquarius, and Venus is going to be in Aquarius, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Aquarius all at the same time. So I'm going to say that late January, early February is going to be a lot different. But as far as predicting how that's going to play out, I'm not good at that. I'm not as interested in that. I kind of like for things to be a surprise in general. I like to be prepared, but I don't know if you can ever be prepared for a major shift in astrological energy. I just don't think you can, especially because it affects us all so differently, and we're vastly affected by other people. Oh, bye, Maria. Thank you so much for coming. Let's get into correspondences. That's my last book here. I love this book. Again, Llewellyn, but this one, it's hard to mess up. It's correspondences. Sagittarius correspondences. So, the solar system is Jupiter. The season is autumn. The celebration is winter solstice. The runes are Is, Jara, and Rod. The element is fire. The energy is yang, or masculine, or directive, right? The colors are black, dark blue, royal blue, sky blue, gold, orange, purple, red, and yellow. The chakras are your root, your solar plexus, and your brow. The tarot cards are Temperance and the Wheel of Fortune. The number is 9. The trees are beech, birch, cedar, chestnut, elder, elm, holly, horse chestnut, juniper, linden, myrtle, oak, palm, which is or dragon's blood, rowan, and black spruce. Herbs, aster, carnation, red clover, daffodil, honeysuckle, mugwort, rose, rosemary, sage, St. John's wort, and vervain. Anise, burdock, clove, deer's tongue, frankincense, ginger, nutmeg, reed, and star anise. The metal is tin. The gemstones and minerals are amber, amethyst, azurite, emerald, Herkimer diamond, iolite, jasper, brown and yellow, labradorite, lapis lazuli, obsidian, opal, peridot, ruby, star sapphire, sodalite, sphene, spinel, sugilite, topaz, black, green, and red tourmaline, turquoise, and red zircon. Goddesses are Anat, Artemis, Athena, Diana, Epona, Isis, and Rhiannon. Gods are Hades, Jupiter, Mars, Nergal, and Thor. I find it funny that they don't say Kronos or Saturn. Or no, that's the opposite. It is Jupiter. But what am I thinking? If they have Jupiter, then they also mean Zeus. Archangel is Michael. Animals are doe, as in a female deer, elk, horse, lion, and monkey. Here's your intentions, issues, and powers you should be concerned with. Beauty, consciousness, danger, dream work, energy, enlightenment, fear, freedom, growth, honesty, improvement, independence, intuition, knowledge, leadership ability, magical animals, optimism, prophecy, self-work, sexuality, spirituality, travel, truth, and unity. So a lot of correspondences. What am I feeling? I like dream work. Energy, enlightenment. I like enlightenment. Growth. I'm just going to write some of these keywords down, guys, really quick. So I like dream work, enlightenment, growth, honesty, improvement, intuition and knowledge, optimism, prophecy, self-work, spirituality, truth. And this is all like, so when I go through all this energy, and I'm finally at the point where I'm synthesizing, because a lot of these keywords we've already talked about. Well, we've read all that energy. Well, we've talked about the astrological energies at bay here, or at play here. We talked about all that. I'm already to the point where I'm synthesizing, okay, what am I going to do? So I want to talk one more thing. The moon cycle that runs through December is the long night, ochre snow moon. The colors are black and red. The gemstones are aquamarine, bloodstone, ruby, blue topaz, turquoise, and zircon. The magical people are the fates and the norns. Issues, intentions, and power are dedication, devotion, love, peace, prosperity, and strength. So that's also something important to consider. So basically, I'm thinking about, like, how does this look intention setting wise, and what should I be engaging my energy in over the course of the lunar cycle, and also over the course of the next 6 months. And And that's what I have to flesh out. So I know I want to do work around the really important, like honestly reviewing my life, and honestly reviewing myself, and then taking what I know and asking myself what is working, what is not working, what must be let go. But then the really big liberating part is like, where are we going? Like, and that doesn't have to happen in that order. Maybe the first thing I need to do is just spend time dreaming and saying, like, if there was no limitations on myself or my time, or nothing, no limitations, because Saturn is moving out of Capricorn and so is Jupiter. But that's just the energy we're in here. We're going to be moving. Everybody's going to be moving. The sun specifically is going to be moving back into Capricorn, but that's okay. If there's no limits, where am I going? What am I doing? What am I building? What am I growing? What does my life look like? And do that big dreaming, and then say, okay, if this is my goal, my future, my path, then where are we now? And what must be let go to make room for this new area? So that's the kind of work that that's the kind of work I think I'm going to end up doing this. And so thinking and dreaming and divining. So a lot of divination. I see myself doing a lot of divination and shadow work here, with the intention and the hope of taking an honest inventory, so that I can take an honest inventory of both what I want and where I am and what needs to be let go. So that's where I'm thinking right now, because our next full moon is going to be in Cancer, which is a very strong full moon. It's going to be a full moon in Cancer. It's going to be a lunar eclipse, and Cancer is at home. Cancer rules the moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's going to be a very, very strong energy, and it's going to be the end of the eclipse cycle. So what am I going to do with that? How am I going to synthesize all that together? That's what I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking? That's one of my favorite parts of this whole thing, is what are we looking at? And I'll get out my decks, because those are also good information, that we can flesh out a little bit more. So I have my Black Moon Astrology. I have my Queen of the Moon. I have my Spirit de la Lune, which I absolutely love. Exactly, Rochelle. That's what I'm thinking too. Okay. I'm looking for my other lunar decks. Hold on here. Oh, my Tarot of the Divines back there. Okay, what do we got? Where are my other lunar decks? What do we got here? Yeah, that's Moonology. Nope, that's not. Oh, this one's a moon deck too. Okay, so I've got my moon decks here. Let's see what they say. First and foremost, I want to start with Queen of the Moon, just because that's my habit. Stacey DeMarco, Queen of the Moon. And basically, I just pull up the moon cycle that we're talking about. That's what's up, Rochelle. I believe we're at the Wolf Moon. Let me see here. No, we're on the long night moon. Well, that makes sense. Duh. Hold on, let me find it. So the way that this deck is organized, it goes by lunar cycle, and it goes by so day of the lunar cycle and the type of moon. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that, okay? So the lunar phase is new moon, and the actual lunar moon cycle is the long night moon cycle. That's really interesting, Rochelle. I'm sure you're going to post about it on your channel. I would love to hear. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I'm in a delicate spot right now. So new moon, beginnings. You're offered a fresh start. Your journey is beginning. Take the first steps towards something new. It is time to place emphasis on your health and well-being. And so Jupiter's really good about that too. So Sagittarius is a good time for that. And then we have the moon cycle itself. So we're going to be working with this energy for basically 29 days. Darkness. You are entering a time of introversion, a leaner time, or a time to turn inward, to plan and strategize. It is time to do shadow work, which will bring big dividends later on. Release what no longer serves you. So this is super pertinent to what we were just talking about. So I'm going to read the whole description. The darkness needs to be there as much as does the light. One of the earliest human fears is said to be fear of the dark. We fear what we can't see, and we fear what we may be hiding. In reality, the dark is as important as the light. In nature, there are many nocturnal animals that go about the business of living under the moon, not the sun. The darker times of the lunar and seasonal cycle signal a time to naturally turn inwards, to stay close to home, to look closely at ourselves, and to plan for the light. In the northern hemisphere, the long night moon usually occurred in December around the winter solstice. This is when the nights are indeed long and the hours of sunshine are short. It's cold, and people would begin to be snowed in. It is during these long nights we can begin to do our shadow work, undertaking the self-reflection needed to identify what isn't working for us and what might be causing us pain. This could be a bad habit, a destructive pattern, a recurring useless fear, or anything that holds us back from being the best we can be. Once we see these aspects of ourselves in the dark, we can simply decide whether they must go. We can decide to release them once and for all. We can transform. That was on point. Wow, Rochelle, that sounds intense. I don't like that feeling either. I don't like that feeling. So I wonder, I'm probably just not ready for it. I'm not ready. I'm not at that stage in my life. But I'm very fascinated by it. So please let me know how it goes. Let's do Moonology next. Oh, girl, that sounds stressful. So new moon in Sagittarius. A new moon eclipse. And I think that's all we need for this cycle. All right. And these are Moonology cards by Yasmin Bolin. So, also good energy. New moon. A new start is coming. This is a yes coming your way. This is one of the most auspicious cards in the deck. It's totally positive and suggests something new and exciting is developing. The situation you're asking about is blessed and you're on target to achieve your goals. The message from the universe is that you're starting all over again in some way, be that on a new or better course or just feeling more positive about achieving your desired outcome. If you've been feeling stagnant, this card reminds you that life goes in cycles and you're moving into a new cycle now. This is the time to wipe the slate clean. If the situation you asked about has become toxic, enter either that will clear up now or something totally new and fresh is on its way. A new start is on its way. You will soon start to feel more hopeful about getting what you want. Your belief in your dreams can manifest is working well. Forget about the past. So that's one part. Specifically, a new moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. Whatever is coming your way, it looks set to put a smile on your face. The new moon in Sagittarius can mark the restart of fun after a period of feeling low. The energy is adventurous and even willing to take a few risks. But be careful you don't bet the farm on something here, as the Wheel of Fortune is still spinning. This card is about exploring life metaphorically, by exchanging big ideas with others or just thinking about your own philosophies. Perhaps it's time to change your mind about something important. It can also signal that a trip away is coming up, if that's something you're working to achieve. But the overall message of this card is that whatever happens next will be some sort of gift, even if that simply means widening your worldview. You need to laugh more. This is a wonderful time to start a course of study or teaching. Don't be narrow-minded. Start a week of gratitude practice. So that's specifically for this one. And then one last one. A new moon eclipse. Yep, exactly, Rochelle. Expect powerful change. If you want affirmation that you can achieve your dreams and get the desired outcome in the situation you're asking about, then this is it. This is a card of beginnings, and there are powerful energies at work. But be prepared. It could be quite a ride, and the events now could even be jarring and uncomfortable. However, any new directions you take will almost always lead somewhere better than where you are at the moment. Whatever is happening now is happening for a reason you'll appreciate later on. A new portal is opening up, and all you have to do is have the courage to forget about the past and move through it. You're being put back on the right path. There is nothing to fear. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. You're being shunted towards your life purpose. Whatever is happening now is happening for your highest good. This is an important turning point in your life. So that, I mean, we're getting a lot of affirmation from these cards, guys. I mean, at least that's how I'm seeing it. I would love your feedback, but it's definitely feeling like this is the time. Dream big, my dears. Make a plan. Let's do that work. Let's get what we want. Spiritual Lune. I got it in a bag too small for it. I got to change it. But all right. I love this deck. So are we in the Wolf Moon? Did I just say that? What am I? Yes, Wolf Moon. So Wolf Moon. I got to get the cards together, guys. Give me a second. Sagittarius, Solar Eclipse, New Moon. It's a lot of cards, so let's see what we got here. I'm just going to go in order. Hi. So let's talk about the Wolf Moon first. That's this lunar cycle, 29 days. This is our energy for 29 days. Sharpen instincts. You are awakening from hibernation. It's time to stretch and begin to expand. Follow and trust your instincts now. Howl at the moon to unlock your hidden desires and let them echo through the night. You are still in the thick of winter, but the wolf lends you protection and courage. The wolf moon reminds you of your primal nature and asks you to listen to your body. The body has stories to tell. What do your bones whisper to you? Where do your instincts lead you? Set the intention to allow your desires to reveal themselves to you. As you hone your instincts and connect with your body, your intuition will develop. Tune in to your third eye chakra, the door to your soul, and your innate wisdom. Go within and explore the wild territories of your soul. The wolf is also a pack animal. Who is in your pack for support? Who is your tribe? Connect and howl together. Shadow. Is being a lone wolf benefiting you? You may be isolating yourself out of fear and insecurity. Is there a need to protect your heart right now? Is your tribe supportive? It may be time to surround yourself with more kindred spirits. Tune into your instincts and become clearer with your boundaries. Awakenings, envisioning, astral travel, healthy boundaries, protection, thick of winter. Listen to your instincts right now. Stay true to your spirit. Seek the support from your tribe. Listen to your body. Focus on your third eye and root chakras. So that's really, really good in my opinion. So then this one's a pretty powerful energy. This is the Solar Eclipse card. It's threshold. When the shadow of a new moon crosses the terrain of the planet, this is when a solar eclipse is experienced. The solar masculine is aligned and supporting the lunar feminine at this time. The moon is in between the earth and the sun in an exact alignment for a portal to open. Like the high priestess in Tarot, standing between the pillars of wisdom and knowledge, the moon becomes the gatekeeper of this threshold. A deep initiation awaits you if you have the courage to walk through. You are in the exact place you need to be right now. There is a new opportunity and a threshold for you to cross. If you cross this threshold, your life as you know it will be over. A new path will begin. You know this deep in the ancient wisdom of you. The divine cosmos, your spirit guides, and the sun and moon support this new vision. Your intentions are magnifying during this supercharged new moon. Dive in. On the shadow, you are allowing the fear of the unknown constrain and bind your spirit. You are choosing to see only the darkness in the situation and cannot notice the light shining through. On the other hand, nothing is aligning the way you want it to be. Be open and allow your perception to shift. When you shift, the universe will shift with you. Initiation, high priestess, aligning masculine and feminine energies, leap of faith, trusting the darkness, deep wisdom within, overcoming fears of the unknown, beacon of hope. Step into your new role, adopt to change, ask for guidance from your higher self. So that was really good. I'm really digging this reading today. It all super lines up with what I was thinking. This is the spiritual Lune, and I love them. New moon, new beginnings. The new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle and is much like the element of air. You cannot see her, but you can feel her. Most of our desires and actions come from the subconscious part of the mind ruled by this moon phase. The mind is a powerful tool to shift consciousness and how we perceive our lives. Now is the time to immerse yourself in the visions of your dreams and desires. You are beginning a new chapter in your life. How do you want this new cycle to unfold? What will be your new reality? In the darkness of the new moon, you are in the womb of your reveries. There are infinite possibilities in this gestation period as you rebirth. You are supported in this darkness of your subconscious. Allow your actions and intentions to stem from this place. On the shadow side, you may need to rethink your intentions in their situation. What is the motivation behind them? If they are not sincere for the higher good of all, they will not fulfill your spirit in the long term. You may also be afraid to face the unknown and invite change. Write your intentions. You are entering a new chapter. Allow rebirth to take place. Swirl and be in the new possibilities. Run free with your imagination. Open your third eye chakra. And last but not least, we've got Sagittarius energy. All of that is being flavored by Sagittarius energy. The explorer. The archer is the last fire sign in the zodiac and directs their fiery energy into their personal philosophy. Ruled by Jupiter, this free spirit is the spiritual nomad, always pursuing more knowledge to add to their rucksack. Drifting tendencies make it hard for the archer to commit, but once they do, they are loyal, optimistic, and it is always an adventure. So your spirit may be feeling restless, and it is time to shake things up. Explore new avenues, whether it is traveling physically or mentally to new realms. What are you drawn to right now? A certain place, a new philosophy? What does your soul crave? Feed this yearning in your heart with movement, creativity, and new adventures. On the shadow side, do not let restlessness turn into recklessness. When you are bored or stuck in a rut, you are blocking your imagination. Find your muse and inspiration again. So for when the moon is in Sagittarius, when the moon is new in Sagittarius, plan your next adventure, start a new spiritual practice. That's the advice here. And it's good advice. Everything's resonating really well. And this is like completely different decks with completely different styles from completely different creators. And it's all really, really meshing like super well. I'm really pleased with this reading. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm loving it. This is my new moon deck. So let's see how that goes. So this is the Magic Moon Oracle Deck Guidebook. And so this one's structured a little bit differently. So I want to make sure that I have the appropriate card that I'm looking for. So this is the new moon, and this is the new moon. So that's cool. And then Then we have Sagittarius, 1, and Sagittarius 2. Let me just double check that I haven't missed anything. All right, so they have 2 cards for the new moon and 2 cards for Sagittarius, which I think is an interesting take on this deck. I've done a review on this deck. If you want to see it, check out my deck review section. It's the Magic Moon. Okay, so the moon in each zodiac sign. Sagittarius moon, emotionally happiest when seeking out new discoveries. Avoid any emotional ties that will hinder independence and agenda. So don't do anything that's going to stop you from getting shit done. Okay, so first is dream. The phase of influence is the new moon. Remove yourself from reality and fall into your wildest visions, goals, and scenarios the imagination can experience. What comes to the surface for you? Is there a new project, relationship, or experience that makes you so excited you can hardly think? It's appropriate. And discover. Phase, new moon. Uncovered what was, what is, and what could be. Approach your unveiling with childlike wonder. What capabilities do you already possess? How does the information you discover illuminate other possibilities? Spot on. So far, spot on. So let's look at Sagittarius energy, because this is all being touched by Sagittarius. So, independent. Through introspection, you push against boundaries and structures built around you. How does your knowledge and yearning for uncovering truth influence those within your orbit? You can't be contained, and through that, self-sufficiency is found. Very good, very good. Still very resonant. The knowledge seeker. What does the unknown spark and ignite in you? When you learn or experience something new, where or how do you feel it manifest? You show up as your true self when you're swept up in the discovery of the unfamiliar. So this is a very interesting reading. I'm hearing like it's time to dream. It's time to see what's going to happen, what can be, where you're going. So dream and discover. Make those plans. What are you trying to create? What do you want to manifest? Where are you going? And how are we going to get there, right? And they're really cute cards too. I love that. It's like a little gift, a little fairy tale, little dragonflies. But also, it's all about self, independence, and knowledge. So I felt like that was very, very on point with my readings for today. So far, I'm going by the sign energy. By the way, it's not just by. I'm not doing it randomly. I'm looking specifically at the energy being expressed at this time. And so that's it. That's a lot. What are you guys going to do? Like, I think that I am going to, I've got a mole on it, but I think I'll get back with you guys about what I decided, because I feel like we've had a really, we've had a lot of thinking. We've had a lot of interesting ideas. I feel like, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys going to set as an intention this term? I would love to hear your thoughts. Or read your thoughts, as it were, right? I'm going to light an incense. I hope it doesn't smell bad. Like that last one smelled horrific. Anybody? Ah, burning the house down. So I guess I can start with saying, ooh, my intention is to get my mojo back. Been in a funk. Me too. I feel that too. I feel like I've definitely been turning a corner, but it has been rough. Oh, that's interesting, Marge. I wonder why you have to do that. Oh, what intentions do you think? How are you guys fleshing out your intentions at this point? That works out. That works out, guys. I definitely, so I have a couple ideas, and one of them is coming to the channel, so I will tell you guys when that's coming up. It's going to be a challenge. So stay tuned for that. But a couple landmarks that I see coming up here. And I've already been marking some of these landmarks. And please, by all means, keep writing because I will read it as soon as you put it up there. Oh no. That does make things challenging. Yes, ultimately, Rochelle, that is also where what I'm thinking of for this cycle as well. It's a great place to start. Is the dreaming is I'm definitely going to the more of the pre-planning phase. We're talking about dreams. We're talking about introspection. We're talking about looking at what it is, where you want to be, and how we're going to get there, what we're going to let go. I know, Lori, but you cannot lead that horse to water. You can lead that horse to water. You can't make it drink. Shadow work is painful shit. And I don't think that you can really engage in it in a healthy way unless you are the one that's ready. Oh, I'm sorry, Marge. That all sounds really stressful. I hope it gets better. That sounds amazing, Rochelle. Exactly, Jennifer. It is hard. It is hard. It's hard, but it's good for you. Exactly, Patricia. That's good. The thing, so that's and it comes back to like the way that we talk about situations should be loving and supportive, but I don't think that situations are going to be light, right? At least not at first. So I think that it's important for us as a community to talk about the importance of shadow work, the importance of introspection, the importance of self-reflection, the importance of sitting with our shadow, of sitting with our shame, sitting with the parts of ourselves that we don't like, the importance of working through that. It can't be underestimated. It's important for us to talk about those things. However, it's also important for us to share like how challenging it is, how vulnerable, painful, angry sometimes, afraid, raw, cathartic. There's a lot of feelings there, and not a one of them is ever love and light for me. But afterwards, when I'm empty of that, when that poison has been drained, then I can heal, and then it's love and light. But I think that we have to be really honest about like, this is not going to be fun. Maybe it is fun. Maybe your mask is whatever makes you happy, baby. But I think that part of the disservice that we do for new witches, young witches, or just young spiritual or people uninitiated with this aspect of their craft is that we aren't upfront and honest that sometimes it's going to be shit and sometimes it's not going to be fun and sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable and sometimes it's going to be painful and sometimes you're going to be fail, and all of those things are important and good. It's not all good happy feelings, because life is not all good happy feelings, and those unhappy feelings or those challenging feelings or those difficult feelings or those transition periods, those are vital for your growth as a human, for your growth as a witch, for your growth as a powerful spiritual being in charge of your own destiny. That is your power. Because once you've owned your weakness and your shame and your vulnerabilities, people can't hold that shit against you because you've already been there. You already sat with the worst of it. And so you already know what it's like. And that's something that we're not honest enough about. And I don't feel like people engage in this part of our journey, of our collective journey, because everybody has to face themselves at some point. Sometimes people don't get that choice and you're stuck with yourself because you haven't healed and you keep making bad decisions and you keep having things not going your way. And sometimes we willfully make that choice so that we can prevent that painful outcome. We're choosing a controlled pain versus an uncontrolled pain. And that's just my perspective. Of course, anything that resonates with you, take it. Anything that doesn't, water off a duck's back. But I challenge you, if you disagree with me, investigate why. And that's what I've been trying to do with people who I disagree with. I'm investigating why does that not sit right with me. And sometimes it's just the way that it's said, but not the intent. And sometimes it's just like, it's just not what I feel, the way that I see reality. Yes, forever. Definitely. And I feel like we have a safe enough group here on my channel and Rochelle's channel and a few other people's channels are really safe, good places where we can have those conversations. I would caution you against doing that kind of work in a more volatile pagan or witchcraft group or community page. Just because if there are people, there are always going to be people who are going to tell you you're wrong and tell you that you're not correct and tell you that you're doing things wrong and tell you that, and they're going to put limits on you. Okay. And don't accept other people's limits on you, because when it comes down to it, shadow work is about engaging in those limits that you put on yourself. And once you can face yourself and challenge those limits you put on yourself, because we're our own worst critic, it always comes down to that terrible, nasty little voice in your head that says, I can't, or I'm not good enough, or I'm a fake, or whatever it is that it's telling you. When you challenge that voice in your own head, you're vulnerable, but afterwards, you're more powerful. It's not fun for me, but I kind of like crying sometimes. Sometimes crying feels good. Sometimes sitting in a hot ritual bath with music playing and just like singing a sad song and just feeling that shit to the marrow of my bones and like thinking of a painful thing that I'm trying to let go and just releasing that into the water and washing it down the drain feels so good. And sometimes you have a bad dream and you work through like, why am I feeling that way? Oh yeah, I forgot about that memory, but let's think about that. Or sometimes you're journaling, or sometimes you are just sitting in your car in the parking lot and you think of something and you're like, okay, wait a minute, let's work through this thought, this feeling, this memory, and get to the bottom of it. I don't think that shadow work has to be a big scheduled ritual. I think sometimes shadow work is just acknowledging that you've talked to yourself like shit, or that you're feeling something awful, or that you're having an awful memory, or whatever it is, and saying, hold on, I'm not going to push this away. I'm going to examine this, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to look at this, and we're going to see what's up with this situation here. Sometimes you're going to cry, and sometimes it's going to hurt, and sometimes you're going to be like, why do I even think this? This is not, I don't believe this. This is just some subconscious boogeyman that's hanging out here, and it has no place, and you kick it out. It just depends on what you're working through. Rochelle, what challenge? Does that challenge help us grow, though? Yeah, I mean, almost most challenges do help you grow. Sometimes, you know, Jennifer, I don't think that we always have somebody with us to support us for our shadow work. I think that you sometimes just have to be in a good place. No worries. I think that you sometimes just have to be in a good place with yourself to go into those shadow work. If you're already feeling down and like crap, or you're having a legitimate mental health issue like depression or whatever, I don't think that this is a good time. I think you have to have a nice, balanced, strong foundation before you rock that boat. I don't think that if you're already feeling low, if you're already grieving, if you're already having depression or hypomania, or some kind of not your baseline mental state, I don't think that it's a good time. So I would caution you about that too. Of course, you know yourself best, but hi, Justin. You're dynamically fantastic. That's wonderful. I am me. That's great, I guess. it is what it is. Yes. I mean, and also on a scientific level, literally a good cry releases certain neurotransmitters out of your lacrimal ducts. So it does release them out of your body instead of holding them in. And I'm trying to be better about, yes, taking what other people say and saying, okay, I don't like that, but I'm going to think about it. And maybe at the end, I still don't like it. But sometimes I'm like, I can see how you would think that. It's so cute. Exactly, Rochelle. I am not telling you to take anybody's bullshit. No, no, no. I will never say that here. But to the best of my ability, I try always to do no harm, but I am not taking anybody's shit, and don't you either. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Unless you did deserve it. You're going to have to see in that situation, did you deserve it? Now, if I broke something of my husband's and he's mad about it, he has the right to be legitimately mad in that area. If you say, I did this ritual this way, and I really liked it, and somebody's like, that's stupid and wrong, that is not okay. That is not a situation where they can just on you. That's not, especially when we're talking about these things, when we're talking about like an alternative religion in something that we don't usually get to talk about, like with large groups of people, we're kind of being vulnerable by saying, hey, I tried this and this is what I did and how it went. And when somebody kind of on that, it's very it's not always healthy, because I do feel like we go to these spaces together. I hope you come to my channel or Rochelle's channel or whatever channels or media that you're going to connect. And I hope this is a safe space where you can do so, where you can grow, where you can learn, where you can have community that nourishes you. But there are places where it's not so much nourishment. And I want to empower you to be like, that's not appropriate. Please don't. No, I don't want any of that. Thank you. I do. And that, I think that comes back to like, there is a segment of people who can only feel good when they think that they're better than you. It's an unfortunate truth of life. And what it comes down to is those people have a lot of stuff that they haven't addressed yet, and they're projecting. But there is a segment of people who are not happy unless you're unhappy. There is a segment of people who cannot feel like a good, powerful witch unless they can say, but you're not really one. There is a group of people like that. That's just the way that they are. Do I think they can grow? Absolutely. I'm going to caution you to avoid getting into it with them. Jay Leno has a Studebaker, yeah. And yes, I did know that they were electric. Also, I mean, so that's a whole other thing. Have you seen Alcohol as a Gas? My husband was really into that for a while. It has a lot to do. So it's complicated, but it does have a lot to do with with corporations. Marge, you're so funny. Yes, Amethyst. And if you're a person like that, and I think to a certain extent, we all have those little defense mechanisms that are really unresolved shadow work. it's okay. It's okay to accept yourself as you are, but I encourage you to investigate why you feel judgment, why you feel criticism, why you feel triggered, why you feel offended. Those are all things that I have been trying to do. Why am I like, what am I doing? Why am I feeling this way? Because for the most part, I don't care what other people think. It has nothing to do with my day-to-day life. My relationship with my husband and son is like adamantium. I have a good life. So why does this internet person make me want to flip a table? And it almost always comes back to something in myself that is vulnerable or painful, or something that I see in myself that I don't like that I'm seeing in their behavior. Exactly, Justin. That's a very good point. Patricia, that's painful. Sometimes family can be like that. And I would just say that's that's a good situation for Saturn. Saturn is a very good energy in that situation because it's about boundaries, protections, and limits. And that might be what you have to do with those relationships, boundaries, protections, and limits, to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself whole, to keep yourself healthy. It's a very good channeling of Saturn's energy, is to be like, no, thank you. That's all yours. You keep that. I don't need that. Thank you. And that's really hard, but you deserve to be happy. You deserve to grow and learn and live and love and worship and connect to divine, and however it is that you do so. And don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, Rochelle. If it was my son, I'd probably there's very little limit to what I would do for my son. That's a different story. I do too, Justin. I love them. You can go ahead and tell us some of your favorites. I love occult books. I even love secular books that have occult topics. So those are also a particular favorite of mine. How did we get to this topic? What I'm saying is, this is an excellent time to synthesize that we have gone through, to dream about where it is that you want to go, to do that reflection to see what is the strength that you're going to carry forward with you and what is the bullshit that you're going to leave behind. This is all that time. This is a good time for that. This is good energy for that. This is what I am going to be doing, and it sounds like many of you are going to be doing, and this is a good, I'm going to try and do a couple more lives so that we can flesh these topics out and talk about that because they're really important. So for myself, I know I will be doing some work. Tomorrow is a dark moon, I apologize. It's a last quarter moon. It's a good moon for releasing. I'm going to probably be doing some work on the 12th because it is a dark moon. It is a Saturday. It's a good time for releasing and to be protected and safe while you do so. Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard of either of those. Or the Sunday before the new moon is also good. That's true, Amber. And it's not, we are our own worst critic, and that is partly because of the internalized bullshit that we get from society, but also, you know, a lot of us have really high expectations. A lot of us like never feel like enough. A lot of us, there's a lot of challenges to having a healthy self-talk situation going on in your brain. And that's really what it comes down to with the dangers of judgment, because the people who are judging you on the internet are like gatekeeping or doing those things. It's almost certain that they're just as mean and nasty in their own inner mind landscape as they are on their keyboard to you. So, I mean, you almost pity them. But we got to stop being so nasty to ourselves. I encourage you to try only to talk to yourself the way that you would a friend. If you wouldn't call your friend a fat pig, or if you wouldn't call your friend a stupid idiot, or if you wouldn't call your friend a fuck up, then you shouldn't talk like that to yourself. It's not acceptable. So, oh, thank you, Jennifer. I'm just talking. I love you guys. This is a good safe space. So I know. And that's why it's kind of like it hinders me meeting more witchy friends because I'm so very cautious about what groups I join, pagan wise, just because like there is a lot of drama and toxicity. And it's just like, why can't we just get along? Like, why do you care how she practices? Who gives a what she does in her house with her witchcraft? Who cares? Why? But exactly, Lisa. That's just right. Don't do it, Amber. You're wonderful. You're creative. You're kind. You're loving. You're generous. People love you. Don't talk to yourself like that. As a matter of fact, talk to yourself you would a puppy. Like, oh, you're so cute. Why are you so cute? I love you. Also, sometimes I'm stern. Bubble, God damn it, stop picking on the floor. But I didn't call him a worthless piece of crap. I just like, don't do that. Um, it's hard because you're going to see that your negative self-talk is kind of like a replay loop in your head. And you go through these little tropes and these little cycles. It's just like, but don't do it. Exactly. Wow, Justin, that's really interesting. So on the 12th and the 13th is a dark moon, and I always like to do work on that day. I would normally do it the very night before the new moon, which would be the 13th, but I think I'm going to do it on the 12th to harness that Saturday energy, and plus it's my last day of work, so I can let all that go, because work has been really challenging for me, very, very draining succubus in my life. Oh, so and then on the new moon on the 14th, I'm going to be starting something. I'm going to do a live about it because I want you guys to join me. I'm going to create some kind of challenge. It's going to be a thing. So let's think about that. That's interesting, Justin, for sure. One of my favorite words is sovereignty. Sovereignty. Think about that as it pertains to yourself and your person and what you're consuming. So, a couple things. If you haven't already, please like. I love your comments. I love you guys. I really do. You guys keep me going. My husband and son too. I love them to pieces. But like this is like an adult conversation outlet. The other thing is if you haven't already, please subscribe. I already announced the giveaway winners. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I'm going to try my very best to get things out this week. I'm trying. The other thing is I have a webpage. It's called hounddoghollow.com. And I put content up there, lots of content. So please check it out. I'm working through all of the stuff, all of my excess gear to kind of put the things that are no longer serving me up on my webpage to get them out. And so there's a few things left. I haven't really uploaded anything new in the last few days, but now the school's over. I'm going to make it my mission to get that stuff. I love you guys too. I love you guys. I'm going to make it my mission to get that up on my channel. So I have the ritual oils. So here's a couple things. Number one, shipping was really, really hard for me, and I couldn't figure out how to do it appropriately. So I kept on accidentally charging people like $2 for shipping, and it would cost me like $15 to ship the package. So I'm not trying to make a huge profit here, but I'm definitely not trying to grow into debt about it either. So that's one thing. So everything says free shipping, but I've included the shipping in the price. And just so you know, that's not me making that up. Like a little envelope costs $18 to ship, and a little box is $15. So I'm just trying to do. Oh my God, Justin, those are really deep concepts. The winners were announced, Jennifer. Go to the giveaway, and in the top, it'll say the people who won. please and thank you. I love it. So things that are coming up are like, I'm working through my astrology content. I'm probably going to do a new playlist for the new moon. There's going to be a new segment that's going to be both on YouTube and my Hound Dog Hollow. And of course, I always do the turning wheel, which is my take on the Sabbath and the correspondences. Justin, I don't believe the earth is flat. I have literally flown in airplanes across the ocean to Asia. And I can tell you right now, you can see the curvature of the earth. So I don't believe that shit. So why is it called sea level? I mean, that's a scientific term that I don't know because I'm not a geographer, but I know, I just trust that science. I haven't even thought about it. And the mythology that we live in Midgard and the tree, I haven't really thought about that either. Thank you. Thank you guys. But what I was saying is on my Hound Dog Hollow, there's things for sale. There's things to read. There's things you can get a newsletter. I'm going to learn how to do that. This winter break, I'm going to learn how to send newsletters so I can send stuff to you. So what I was going to say is the ritual oils. So if you buy one, you get one free, I think it's something like that. Let me pull it up. I don't want to tell you guys a lie. My God, I'm sitting here like, I want to tell you guys the truth so that when you go to my channel, you're like, this bitch is telling lies. I don't think that you think about me like that. I'm just being salty. There you go, Justin. Hannah's got an idea about that. Okay, ritual oils. So it says $13. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's because it's really expensive to ship. And what I mean is, it says here, I have an overabundance of ritual oils. I didn't create them. I say that explicitly. I did not create this. Okay. It says all the ones that I have available. So 2 for $5. It ends up being $13 to ship. And then, yes. So it ends up being $13 for 2 ritual oils, or for a spray and a ritual oil. So check that out. And if you have questions about the smells, just let me know. Some of the stuff that I'm probably going to be letting go very soon is stuff that's related to deities that I don't work with. Is something that I have a lot of. Stuff that is, I have so much decor, and I have a little kid that like is 5. And so most of it is still in boxes because there's just not a really, number one, I don't really work with those deities that I have decor of. And number 2, not all of it. As you can see, like, I'm very simple decor back there. It's usually books. You guys are so cute. I love what you're talking about. What was I gonna say? So yeah, check that out. If you have anything that you're interested in, let me know. I'll be putting that up on the shop at some point. It's funny because the shop is literally the most visited part of my page, and I don't think that anybody looks at the content. So please read the content. You might like it. The other thing is, I have like 1,400 subscribers on YouTube, and probably most of them are not active. But if you are active on Facebook or Instagram, I would love if you follow me or like. And they're both Hound Dog Hollow. Although on IG it's like hound _dog_ hollow. And I think that I am about done. All right, guys. I love you. Have a wonderful night. Like, comment, and subscribe. The content coming up this week. So every Wednesday is a book review. I'm doing all the planners right now. And there should be like an unboxing here and there. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and I will see you soon. Stay tuned because there is new content coming up, but I will let you guys know either on the community tab in YouTube or on my Facebook or on my IG. So check it out. I love you guys. Bye.